folks, welcome to the channel. This is a YouTube channel I made for my small auto repair business. I specialize in fixing antique automobiles, but all types of old cars, you know. A lot of people think it's specialized like Packards or Accords or something, but it's everything. I fix, friggin' Plymouth Reliance and all types of weird crap. But this is my channel, and my goal was to utilize this recently purchased property that I had bought to not only display some of my own vehicles and the history and rich history of everyday cars that you don't usually come across or hear about because it's not on Haggerty, or whatever auctions, very popular. But also customer cars, people that are interested in having me, display a car, talk about it. I would love to make little segments, even if they're a few minutes, whatever. Something you can watch while eating a sandwich and maybe find it interesting. So, that's what this channel's going to be about. I appreciate you giving it the time of day, and I hope that you can subscribe or whatever, or just stick around for some good content. I'd like to start this video by, and I just want to touch on a detail, is that the way I really want the structure is not like a basic, maybe more popular YouTube video that you usually see about cars with the broken down fan. I might just be talking about it as I please, with just rolling or still shots of the vehicle, So maybe it is like a regular, I don't know, I'm definitely not a YouTube expert. But, I'd like to introduce my first car. So, my first car that I'm going to feature on this channel was actually on an older YouTube video from my old account that really didn't go anywhere. It was kind of just a personal account for random music I recorded and whatnot, but, it's a 1968 Ford Falcon Futura, and I've had it on and off for about 4 or 5 years, and it's a really quite a legendary little car, I gotta tell you. I bought it first in 2016, I think, January of 2016. I was like in my mid-20s, and I just loved old cars. I had a few old cars before that, but this one really stuck out to me because it was all original. The unibody was in good shape, and it spoke to me. I had like a cheap vinyl interior that was not ripped at all at the time, and it was kind of sitting half in this ditch at this guy's house out in Selden, New York. So I think I bought it for like, at the time, $600 or $700 or maybe even $800 if I remember right, cash, and towed it home to my friend's house. At the time I was staying there part-time. I worked at a restaurant in town, which was Babylon, New York, and I brought it back to his house, total wreck. The family just like, they were like shocked. They're like, what are you doing? This whole piece of crap, blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna fix it up, So I did the works to it, nothing crazy. I threw a set of points, condenser, spark plugs, wires, and everything. I even was able to locate a new Autolite 1100 carb for the car. Threw it in, got it running good. Heat sucked, but we worked through it, and I drove it for a while. So I had it for a few months, and I needed to have some money. I had left my job working at the restaurant, and I was in between jobs. I said, I need a few bucks, So I sold the car for like $1,800 in April of 2016 to a nice guy named Jeff, who was like an avid young car collector that had this big company in the tri-state area. And what a nice guy, he took the car. I think it'd be like $1,800. I was up a little money. I was happy. Said goodbye to the car. And then, from what I understand, he really did right by it. He went all over the states with it, like to these car meets and didn't really do any full rest though. I mean, the car just had a straight six, 200 straight six, I believe a C3 automatic transmission, and I had it painted from its original baby blue. I painted it with like some red crappy primer from Ace Hardware. So he contacts me, and I'm at my new job, and I'm like living between Queens and my grandmother's old house in Long Island where I was working. He's like, "Yo, Matt, it's a crazy question. You want to buy the car back?" I'm like, "Yeah. I mean, if it's not too much money, maybe I'd be. I mean, yeah, I'm sure you put thousands into it." He's like, "No, not really. You know, I did some new stuff, put a new gas tank in it." And I think we settled on like, I was like, "What do you want for it?" You know, I was afraid to take $5,000, which was reasonable, right? He's like, "Give me $600. I'm like, "What?" I said, "Yeah, give me $600 and I'll bring it over." And he lived in like Tuckahoe or right over the Hudson, or you know, he lived in like Jersey City or something, maybe I forget, but it wasn't far. And I was in Queens, so I drove the car over. I gave him the cash. And that was the second time I owned the car. So I was like, oh my God, what a journey already, right? So long story short, I put the car back into service. It's red now. I'm driving it around. And another year goes by and I got bored. So I painted white with like deck paint, you know. I painted it like a eggshell white with a brush and a roller, because I ain't fancy, you know. So I paint the car and I drove it around a little longer, and again I fell in hard times. So I parked the car back at my grandmother's house and I put it for sale on eBay, on my little eBay store, Matt's Antique Auto. Go figure. And it sold for like $900. This guy out west or something, maybe the Southwest, I forget. He bought it, and for weeks he just never picked it up. I'm like, "Dude, you want a car? You're not." But he's like, "Listen, I can't take it. My wife's yelling at you." He said, "Well, I have your money." He's like, "Keep the money. I'm sorry for all the aggravation I caused you." He's like, "Right." So now I got the car again, you know. So that was the second time. So technically I sold the car twice already. Third time rolls around. I need a car. I'm working at a car dealership as a salesman. I'm excelling in the business. I'm doing well. And it's a Ford. And I was working at a Ford dealership here in Bayshore, New York. Called Newman's Ford. I'm sure many local people have heard about it. So what would be cool for me to put the car back on the road and drive to work? Yada, yada, yada. It'd be a conversation piece when I'm walking customers across the lot, you know, and tell them about the car, you know, listen up and tail. So that was close up in the back of the room. This time I'm like, wow, I can't do that. It's probably 3 times, you know. But then again, I ended up leaving that job. Big discrepancy, long story. Some money that I thought I made and they didn't end up, you know, giving it to me, something like that. And it was a whole silly thing. So I ended up like quitting like one day, just abruptly. I didn't give 2 weeks notice. And it was in that car that you could see me like throwing my stuff probably on the camera in my office. My desk contents just in the back seat of this car. And I drive away. And I'm like, that's it, you know, I'm starting over. Again, I fell in hard times. I started a small job in manufacturing later that summer. And I needed money. So I sold it to a friend of a friend in East Islip, New York. And he bought it. At that time I had done some work to it, so I sold it to him for a few more, considerable more amount of money because of what I did. And he just loved the car so much. So long story short, he bought the car. We settled on a price. And he drove it for like a year, you know, 2 years. And he took care of it, I guess. You know, we kind of kept in contact. I had some of my friends would report he'd see him driving around town. And I just always liked to hear it. It would always be in the bottom of my heart, like that the car was so much part of the short years of history for me, and a little bit of a saga, like a soap opera. So let's fast forward to 2021, October. For like this whole month between September and October, all my friends that are connected to my car adventures and stuff and my work and my business were like always chuckling when we were like out at a party and giggling, like that look someone gives you when they know something you don't know. And so I knew something was kind of going on. I'm like, we're going to be almost 30, blah, blah, blah. They're like, yeah, well, you're going to get something cool for your birthday. So right off the bat, I'm like, oh boy, I think I know what's going on here. But I played dumb, because I didn't want to hurt nobody's feelings and whatnot. So sure enough, one of my good friends, John, one of my closest friends from high school, meets me, and I work half days Saturdays at my shop that I work at now. And he meets me halfway down the street where I park to go into my apartment. And he's like jogging up briskly. He's like, hey, it's your birthday. And I'm like, this guy never acts like this, so what's going on? So he gets on the phone, he goes, all right, you can pull her around now. And I'm like, oh shit. What do you think happens? And there's a little golf course down the street where there's a corner to turn. And what do I see? My 68 Falcon with a big, gift store red bow around it, like the the old car commercials, like the Christmas present car, stapled to the roof. And Matt, the kid I had sold it to, had sold it back to John, and John had purchased it for whatever amount of money as a birthday present. So there you have it. The story is, now I vowed that I'll either have to die with the car or give it to my kids in the future. So my 1968 Ford Falcon has found its way back to me about 4 times now, or 5 times. So as of January/February 2022, I've been driving her every day. She's been a very reliable old vessel with the same drivetrain and about 120,000 miles, I think I'm going on now. Original straight 6. All we do is really change the oil. We use 20 weight, and obviously watch the rear oil, grease her up, and just watch the rust. We try to condition her frame a lot, her unibody rather, to keep it protected from the northeast. All the elements that work against us here, the salt and the air, the content of the salt. And but otherwise, she's just a beautiful old car, and it's a car that I never really want to restore because it's just kind of beautifully aged, like a rough museum piece, something that you salvage, that you would be ruining it by reconditioning it, if you will. So to me, I made like some slip covers for the front seat. From what I've learned at my current job, I just use some cheap stuff, and then I put a little Southwest blanket in the back, and it's still got its original carpet, and it's just a great workhorse car. And it's funny because in the original video I made for this car, I said I just love it very much, and that was years ago, and now I'm just still saying it. It's never failed me. It's seen a lot of great family history. And I just thought it would be a cool first vehicle of my channel to share with you. And I appreciate you watching if you made it this far. I hope to have more content coming out little by little, and then more volume as I go along. So have a wonderful night or day or whatever time it is when you're watching this. And stay tuned for some cool content. I really appreciate you guys. This is Matt, and this is the Matt's Antique Auto Car Talk.